Hi, I'm Robin, English teacher with Core Languages, and today I'm in the beautiful neighborhood of Park Circle just outside of Charleston, South Carolina. I have two questions for you today. The first question is, what do you do every day? Think of something that you do every single day. For example, I drink water every day, and I walk my dog every day. Now, my second question is, what did you do yesterday? I would say, I drank coffee yesterday, and I walked my dog yesterday. When we talk about things in the past, one of the tenses we use is the simple past. But we need to know how to use it and when to use it. Did you hear that I said, I drank coffee, I walked my dog? Those are different. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to use the simple past. So the next time someone asks you, what did you do yesterday? You can formulate a perfect English sentence. The simple past. When formulating sentences in the simple past, we have to pay attention to the kind of verbs that we're using. There are regular verbs and irregular verbs. Regular verbs in the simple past only have one conjugation. They are the same for the subjects I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. To formulate a sentence in the simple past, we follow the same order as a sentence in the simple present. We have the subject, then the verb, and then the ending ed or d. If the verb ends in the letter e, such as the verb like, live, or love, we simply add d. For example, she walked home, or he loved the concert. It is important to remember the conjugation of the verbs to be, to have, and to do, both in the simple present and the simple past. To be, to have, and to do are some of the most important verbs in the English language. Feel free to repeat after me. This is the conjugation of to be in the simple past. I was, you were, he, she, it was, we were, you were, and they were. Notice that I and he, she, it is different from the other subjects. The conjugation for to have and to do is the same. I had, you had, he, she, it had, we had, you had, and they had. I did, you did, he, she, it did, we did, you did, and they did. Some regular verbs come with spelling changes when conjugated in the simple past. For example, when verbs end in a consonant and the letter Y, we need to change the Y to an I before adding ed. For example, the verb to cry. The baby cried for its mother. Notice that we changed the Y of the verb cry and replaced it with an I before adding ed. Be careful, there are some exceptions. For example, the verbs buy and fly. Those verbs are irregular. Their past tense form is bought and flew. Verbs that end in a consonant, a vowel, and another consonant double the final consonant, especially if that syllable carries the stress or if the verb is a one-syllable verb, such as plan, ship, or stop. They planned their vacation for weeks. Notice how we doubled the final consonant N. If verbs end in a vowel other than an E, for example, the verb ski, we usually add ed. For example, we skied in Wyoming last year. There are some verbs in the English language that do not follow the same pattern of conjugation either in the simple present or the simple past. Those are irregular verbs. There are different ways irregular verbs can be conjugated in the simple past. For example, some irregular verbs have a stem vowel change, such as the verb to sing. To sing in the simple past is sang. The I changed to an A. For example, she sang beautifully. There are some irregular verbs that add or delete letters. For example, the verb to take. To take in the simple past is took. He took a long break. There are some irregular verbs that do not change at all. For example, the verb to put. To put in the simple past is also put. Look at the following sentence. She put the book down. This can be confusing. The same sentence in the simple present would be she puts the book down. She put the book down is a sentence in the simple past. There are some irregular verbs that change entirely. For example, the verb to go. To go in the simple past is went. They went to the beach. It is important to understand that in order to determine the simple past form of a verb, we cannot simply rely on its spelling. For example, some regular verbs add d, such as the verbs bake, fake, and rake, and other verbs with very similar spelling have entirely different forms. For example, bake, fake, and rake are baked, faked, and raked in the simple past, but the verbs make, take, and wake are irregular. Their past tense form is made, took, and woke. Here are a few more examples of verbs that follow irregular conjugation patterns. Notice that some have a vowel change, some have a consonant change, and some have a completely new word. For example, the verb to say. The simple past form of to say is said. I said, you said, he, she, it said. We said, you said, and they said. The simple past form of to see is saw. The simple past form of to go is went. And the simple past form of to buy is bought. There are three different forms of the simple past. Pay close attention to the word order in each. We can use the simple past to make a statement. The word order is subject and verb. For example, we watched the parade. We is the subject and watched is the verb. When we want to make a negative statement, we need to use did. Did is the past tense form of to do. The word order is subject, did not, and the verb. For example, we did not watch the parade. Notice how watch is in its infinitive form. It is not conjugated in the simple past. It would be incorrect to say, we did not watched the parade. If we want to formulate a question in the simple past, we also use did or did not. For example, did you watch the parade? Or did you not watch the parade? Notice again how watch is in its infinitive form. It would be incorrect to say, did you watched the parade? Let's practice. Here is the verb to eat. The verb to eat is irregular. Feel free to repeat after me. I ate, you ate, he, she, it ate, we ate, you ate, and they ate. Let's practice negating. I did not eat. You did not eat. He, she, it did not eat. We did not eat. You did not eat. They did not eat. Here is the verb to think. To think is also an irregular verb. Feel free to pause the video and try to practice on your own. I thought, you thought, he, she, it thought, we thought, you thought, and they thought. To negate thought, we simply use did not. I did not think, you did not think, and so on. It is important to know when it is correct to use the simple past. We use the simple past when talking about habits. For example, I drank orange juice every morning as a child. We also use the simple past to talk about a duration of an event in the past. For example, they lived in Nashville for 10 years. We use the simple past to refer to completed actions in the past. For example, we saw the movie. When we refer to past facts that are no longer true, we also use the simple past. For example, we had no cell phones when I was a child. We also use the simple past to talk about a series of completed actions. For example, she went to the store, bought some food, and came home. Let's practice. Look at the pictures and the example verb and try to complete the sentence. The verb is to drink. She tea every morning. Drink is an irregular verb. She drank tea every morning. How about this sentence? The verb is to play. He, the violin in orchestra. Play is a regular verb, and we simply need to add ed. He played the violin in orchestra. How about the sentence? The verb is to fly. We flew to Washington, D.C., or we flied to Washington, D.C. Excellent. The verb to fly is irregular. The correct sentence is, we flew to Washington, D.C. And how about this sentence? The verb is to go. I gone to a restaurant, or I went to a restaurant. To go is an irregular verb. The correct sentence is, I went to a restaurant. Thank you for watching. I hope you now have a better understanding of when and how to use the simple past. As always, if you have more questions, feel free to comment, or if you're interested in joining one of our courses with a live instructor, feel free to message us directly. I look forward to seeing you in our next class.